As most of you will know if you follow this channel, I made a really long video about soap and detergent and things that we clean laundry with. And I just happened to notice that that Diet Coke cup from 3 days ago is still sitting there. That's perfect on camera. Anyway, soap. So I made this big long video about soaps and detergents and everything, and so it got me to wondering about all these homemade laundry detergents that people make. If you Google it, you will find blogs with pictorial tutorials about how to make your own homemade laundry detergent. If you go to YouTube and you type in homemade laundry detergent, you will find many people who are making it with slightly varied recipes. And I don't know, I'm curious. Now, there's two schools of thought on it. There are people who say, oh, I've used it for years. I love it. It's just as good as the other stuff. I've been making it for, a decade, and that's what I use for my family. And then you have other people who say that it'll ruin your machine, that it leaves the clothes dingy, that their clothes smelled bad afterwards. So there's a huge variety, and then there are people in the middle who are like, yeah, it was fine, but I didn't like making it anymore, or I preferred the commercial detergent. So you have this huge wide range of, you've got the extremes on both ends, where it's like, oh, it's the best thing ever, it's better than commercial detergent, and then you have the people who are like, it'll break your machine, and your clothes are going to smell bad, don't use it. And there's lots of blog articles on both sides. And then you've got this range of moderate opinions in the middle. And me being me, I decided that this was something that needed to be tested for science. So this video is about me making my very first batch of homemade laundry detergent and what I put in it and all of that. As I go through and edit, I'll try to make sure that amounts of what I used are on there. I haven't done a load of laundry with it yet, so there will be a follow-up with my opinion on how it works once I've done 10, 12 loads of laundry with it, and I can tell you kind of how I feel about it. And then if down the road, assuming I continue to use it, if down the road I find that it's been detrimental to my machine or it's building up on my clothes or something, then I'll do a video follow-up for that as well, just to get the Amy Nix's opinion on it. I honestly think that the varying experiences have a lot to do with people have different kinds of machines. People use slightly different products when they make their homemade detergent, and some of that may have a different effect on the chemical mixture that you've got there. And then there's also whether you use warm water or cold water to wash your laundry, because some people talk about how the soap flakes don't completely dissolve. And it can also have to do with, I think most heavily do with the mineral content of your water, whether you have hard or soft water or something in between. So I'm curious. This is just going to be a fun experiment. So let's get into it and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so I'm going to make laundry detergent at home here for the first time today. And you're going to hear Cadence over there munching on her food because that's the kind of thing she does. She's silent until I get out the video camera, and then all of a sudden she's starving to death and needs to eat very loudly right next to where I'm filming. That's just what dogs do for us. Kind of like children that way. All right, so basically I've watched a bunch of recipes online, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to use borax. We're going to use washing soda, which is sodium carbonate. We're going to use baking soda, which is sodium bicarbonate. Now, these things are, you know what? You can watch the soap video. I talked about all of these in the hour-long soap video. I want this one to just be fun. And then this I got because I want it to smell nice. And Mrs. Meyer's Clean Day, all of their products are vegan and they're very environmentally sound. And I specifically picked this one because it doesn't have phthalates or phosphates or animal ingredients in it. And I couldn't determine that on the others that I looked at. So I'm going to try this one. I've used their soaps before and really loved them. And so on the recipes, I knew I needed Fels Naphtha, and I have quite a few bars of Fels Naphtha, but one of the recipes I looked at said that she used Fels Naphtha and a different bar of soap. So I'm going to use also a bar of Mrs. Meyer's Clean Day lavender soap because the scent will match this. So the first step is I'm going to grate this, and I'm going to grate this, and I'm going to grate the bar of Mrs. Meyer's in my food processor. And you guys don't want to listen to that racket. So I'll come back when I've got all of that grated. Okay, this is just a photograph of the packaging for the Mrs. Meyer Clean Day lavender scent bar soap that I used as the second bar in the laundry soap. Okay, so this is the result that I got after grating the soap. This orangey yellowy stuff is the Fells Naphtha, and it's a much harder bar of soap. So you can see it grated up into these tiny little pieces and even powdered. In about half of the bar is powder and half of it is these soft little short things. However, the Mrs. Meyer's soap is a softer soap, and so it grated into these very long strands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these out, and I'm going to use a pastry cutter to cut them into smaller grated pieces, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, it'll make sense when you see what I've done with it after. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got the camera set up. I'm going to try this out and see if you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to transfer this grated soap onto my little cutting board here, a little bit at a time. And I've got my handy dandy pastry cutter. So what we're going to do is just try to break it up. Now, I didn't see anybody recommend this anywhere. This is just, I know that in my laundry powder, I don't want huge, long pieces of soap like this. So this is what sprung to mind to do. So I'm going to try this and see how it works out. This soap smells so unbelievably good. Whoever knew that grating a piece of soap, your whole house would smell like lavender? This is fantastical. The one thing, well, there's probably lots of things I'm going to mention. You guys know that about me by now, right? But this is definitely using the food processor, even if it makes these longer slivers. Doing it this way is so much faster and so much less labor intensive than hand grating these bars of soaps. Because I have a hand grater, but yeah, I'm not all about spending an entire evening grating a bar of soap. And I'm not going to make my poor kid do it, because nobody wants to do this. But I mean, these are honestly getting about down to the size of the pre-grated soap flakes that I've seen for sale. This is getting down to about that size. Now, this again is the Mrs. Meyer's Clean Day Lavender Soap. And I'm doing this on the recommendation of one of the YouTube videos, and I watched many, about how to make homemade laundry detergent. So this is getting powdered up now. And that was pretty quick, wasn't it? I'm going to do the rest of this, and then I'll come back when it's all ready to go. Okay, so now I'm going to put in the rest of the ingredients, and I think when I get upstairs to edit this, I'll try to speed it up so you don't have to watch me painstakingly go through everything. Basically, we're just going to mix all this stuff together and cross your fingers that the bowl's big enough. Okay, so this was just mixing it up, and I sped up the video so you didn't have to watch me struggle to open boxes. It took what felt like 5 minutes to open that box. And I've included all the amounts on there so that you know what size to look for if you want to do this. Of course, Cadence was helping. I think she thought I was preparing food. Yeah, there I realized that stirring with the spoon wasn't really going to help, so I really needed to be doing it with my hands. You can get large boxes of that baking soda that come in the 2-pound size, but I couldn't find any, so I just bought 2 1-pound boxes. Now I put gloves on because in some of the videos they recommended that. I don't know that it's strictly necessary, but you know, I was just being careful. Plus it kept me from having to wash soap off of my hands at the end, which was nice. Bless that bowl, it actually held everything. And there you go. Okay, so this is the container that I put it in. We just used to keep breakfast cereal in this. I was able to mix everything in this blue bowl, and it all came out very evenly. I was very pleased with it when I put it in this container. Now, all of the videos say that if you do large loads of laundry, they recommend that you use 2 tablespoons of the homemade detergent, and 2 tablespoons is 1/8 of a cup. And I have this 1/8 cup measure, and we never use that for anything in cooking. It's either 2 tablespoons or 1/4 of a cup. So I just went ahead and put this in here. It'll be excellent for the laundry scoop. I will have to make a cute little sticker that says laundry detergent or something, and, you know, get precious with it on the container and all of that. But that's really how I'm going to use it. And that little scoop, my camera ran out of memory while I was videotaping, so it kind of cut me off there. That little white and green scoop is a 1/8 cup measure, and it's just so rarely used that it just sits in that drawer. And it just so happens that 1/8 of a cup is 2 tablespoons, which is the recommended amount in every video I've seen about homemade laundry detergent. So I will be using that, and we'll come back in, you know, a few weeks after I've done some laundry with this stuff and can give you a good opinion on it. But I'm really excited about the Mrs. Meyer Clean Day lavender products. They smell absolutely divine, and I'm really happy with that company and with the ingredients in their products and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.